Get
Okay.
started.
Okay. Everybody raise your right fist in the air. Repeat after me. One God,
One God,
One God,
one aim,
one
one
aim,
aim,
one destiny.
one
one
destiny.
destiny.
Africa
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 for the Africans,
for the
for the
Africans.
Africans.
those at home,
Those at home
Those at home
and those abroad.
and
and
those
those
abroad.
abroad.
Race first.
Face first.
Face first, everyone. So I know we've been on chapter 1 for a little bit, but we're gonna kind of do a little review of sort in chapter 1. Last week we kind of experimented with some open-ended questions. And I don't know if Dr. Kudo is on the call, but Dr. Kudo has been instrumental with helping me with some of the questions. So kudos to Dr. Kuda and hope she'll get a chance to join us today. But in any event, I have questions for chapter 1 and chapter 2, and the hope is to get through both set of questions. And for chapter 1, we've been kind of touching on it already, so I'm kind of hoping we'll go through chapter 1 questions fairly quickly. Of course, if anyone wishes to comment or just expound on any of the questions, it doesn't mean you can't do so, but we're gonna try to kind of get through chapter 1 already so we can hop on chapter 2 questions. And I'm not sure if we'll be able to get any reading in, but yeah, we're trying to catch up a little bit. So anyway, with no further ado, I guess we can go ahead. Oh yes, and the questions. At the end of the session, you'll get all the questions and all the answers. And the hopes is that, and the page numbers are there on the paper. There's a page number to tell you where the questions are coming from. So these won't necessarily be the exact same questions on the exam, but at least it gets you into study mode and you know where to find the answers when you're looking back in the book, through the book or through the electronic copy, however you're diving into this material. So anyway, let's get into the questions. So Brother John, if you can go ahead and display chapter 1, Marcus Garvey and the Vision of Africa, and the chapter and the questions.
Yes. So I'm having a little bit of well, I can get the questions, but I'm having trouble. This is Google Docs. It downloaded them as PDFs, so I
Oh,
can't.
it did.
Yeah, it's hard for me to.
Oh,
No, hold on, can I? I can't copy
oh,
them.
it's hard to control and cover it up and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh, brother.
but I can.
Uh,
I mean, I can do it as it's being shown. I can, just show. Oh crap! I'm in the wrong stuff.
uh-oh.
You can show the question. It just if it's a long sentence, I'm gonna have to scroll to the side.
Okay, that's fine. That'll work. So, the first question, and anyone can answer, it says, what year was the UNIA founded? And some of them are short answers, some of them you can expound. And again, like I said, it's got the page number where the questions are coming from, so you can go back and dive into it a little deeper if you want to. So we'll
Um, May I answer? No, is it not?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
We celebrate July 20th, 1914.
Awesome. That is the answer. Yes, the answer is 1914. Okay, and this one is really easy. Who is the author of Race First? The book that we're studying. Anyone can answer that.
Brother Art, I heard you.
Tony Martin.
Mhm.
Awesome. Thank you, Brother Art. That is the right answer. And the next question says, in what city? And that if we're kind of doing them fast, and you will have the paper with the page number. So don't worry if you're not having a chance to get into the book. Okay, in what city was the UNIA founded? That's an easy one too.
Yes. I don't want to, take other people's opportunities.
Kingston, Jamaica.
Awesome. That is
Right.
exactly right. Thank you. Okay. And then question number 4 says, I know everyone knows this one. What does the UNIA stands for?
Yeah. Sometimes we we get that U confused.
You know what? Sometimes I say I do too.
Improvement Association,
What's that?
the Universal Negro Improvement Association.
And that is correct. Thank you, Brother Art. And what is Marcus Garvey's full name?
Mosiah.
That was not hard.
Marcus Mosiah Garvey.
Awesome.
ECL DSOE.
Thank you. That is correct.
And that's for Dr.
Marcus
Civil Law.
Mosiah.
Just want to clarify that.
Yes.
Doctor of Civil Law and the DSOE is Distinguished Service Order of Ethiopia when he was knighted. So anyway, that's his full name and title as President General.
Awesome. Thank
His,
you.
they might know what his name says on his birth certificate.
On the birth certificate,
Valley
the honorable.
Honorable. No,
Marcus Mosiah Garvey Jr.
Oh, Junior.
No, I don't know if it's Junior, but where I'm going at, and I saw it in the papers, the UNIA papers, but on his birth certificate, he's named Malchus, Malcus.
Oh.
I'm not sure when it changed to Marcus, but the birth certificate that they have on record is Malchus, Malcus.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. And next question says, what major event is associated with August 1st, 1914 in Garvey's life?
August 1st, 1914?
August 1st, 1914 in Garvey's life.
That's the launch of the UNIA.
Say that again?
That was the official launch of the UNIA.
You are correct. That was the founding of the UNIA.
Oh,
Great job. Thank you.
Well, the founding was July 20, but the launch was on August 1st.
Okay.
Thank you for that clarification.
Okay. And then which book profoundly influenced Marcus Garvey?
Good question. I've got one answer.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say Up from Slavery, Booker T. Washington autobiography.
Excellent. That's the answer. Up from Slavery by Booker T. Washington.
Hmm.
And then the next question says, where did Garvey move? Where did Garvey move in 1916 to expand the UNIA?
United States.
Absolutely.
Where in
Good
the
job.
United States?
Well, technically, he first landed in New York, but he was traveling around quite a bit.
Yeah, New York was what I was looking for. I didn't know if there was a particular city that's credited with that, but I know it's New York as a state.
Yeah, in fact, he stayed in the rooming house, but he didn't even have a room. He stayed in the hallway.
Hmm.
That's how much of a shoestring budget he had.
And mainly in Harlem, right?
Yeah, it was in Harlem.
In
Mhm.
Harlem. Yes. Okay, the next question says, what was Marcus Garvey's profession before founding the UNIA of the UNIA?
Hmm. Anybody?
Yeah, he was a printer.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's right.
Printer and journalism.
And yeah, can't forget about that.
yeah,
Yes.
master printer at that, and publisher as well.
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Okay. And then the next question says, what is the primary focus of the UNIA?
That's a good question. Primary focus. Primary.
What is the primary focus of the UNIA?
Oh, I know it's
Anyone wants to guess?
yeah, my guess would be the organization and liberation of Africans globally. It's very general, but that
Well, that is true, but that's not quite the answer I'm looking for, but that is definitely true.
gotcha.
Anyone else want to try another guess? Okay. Well, that would be racial uplift
Ah,
and economic independence for Black people.
the racial education, racial uplift, economic independence.
Up, you mighty people, you can accomplish what you will.
Yeah, let me see if I can rescale this. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I know if I moved it, some answers will pop up. I didn't want that. Okay.
Okay. So, question 11 says, which ship is famously associated with Garvey's Black Star Line? And that's the answer to that is actually on page 7 of your book. Does anyone want to take a shot at it?
Yeah, so the first ship would be the SS Yarmouth.
Absolutely.
Reed Christian and Frederick Douglass.
Absolutely. That is the correct answer, the SS Yarmouth.
What about, well, yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, that's a good question.
Now that's founded on page 7 of the book.
Yeah, now as we're answering and asking, these are the opinions of Dr. Tony Martin. Some things are the basic facts, like when he was born and where the UNA was founded. but what opinion does he have of which ship is most important? Those are opinionated questions. So, just it's not really a right or wrong answer. It's just what is his answer, I guess, is what we're looking for.
Right. We got sometimes we'll have open-ended questions that kind of could go one way or the other, and in this particular instance, the answers are a little more narrow. But absolutely, some of the stuff is debatable, and like you're saying, some of it might just be based on the author's opinion in some instance. But the factual stuff is what we're trying to capture in these answers. So, but So, okay. So the next question says, what was the central theme of Garvey's speeches and writing? The central theme.
I got some guesses.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Self-reliance, confidence, and organization are the concepts that come to my mind.
Okay. Those are all good answers. Not exactly the one I'm looking for, but those are all good answers.
Understand. Regarding speeches and writing.
And those were principles also from the course of African philosophy. I remember some of those from there. Anyone else want to take a shot?
The
central theme. I'm not sure what Dr. Martin's answer was, but I would say possibly African redemption.
Okay. That's actually close. And brother, how do you say your name? I don't want to mess it up.
You're gonna mess it up. It took me a year to learn how to pronounce it right when I adopted it. But Moria-Ma.
Mararima?
Moria-Ma.
Riyama?
Yeah, Moria.
Mariama.
Yeah, Moria means speaker, and Ma means truth. So I'm a speaker of truth, a Moria and a Ma. So if you can remember that,
Moriama.
Yeah.
Right? Moriama?
Right, Mori-ama.
Ma.
Yeah, like Maury Povich.
Moriama. Okay.
Yeah.
Moriama.
Right.
Moriama. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Yes, that was pretty close to what we're looking for. Anyone else want to try, or we'll go ahead and so again, the question was what
Pan-Africanism.
the central theme of Garvey's speech and writing. It's Black nationalism and Pan-Africanism, and it tells you in the book where you can dive more into that question and stuff. So the next question number 13 says, which symbol becomes synonymous with the UNIA? That one's easy. The answer is in front of us.
Yeah, I would think that one is an easy one.
Anyone wants to give it a shot?
A flag.
Brother Moriama? That is correct. I wanted to practice your name. Okay, awesome. That is the correct answer. The symbol that's become synonymous with the UNIA is the red, black, and green flag. Okay. Number 14 says, what year did Garvey first travel to the United States?
If we paying attention, we went over this in the previous question.
1916.
All right.
What month?
Awesome.
You know what month he came?
July? Wasn't it July?
I think it was March. I'm leaning more towards March.
March 23rd.
Ah, March 23rd. Again, more accurate. Okay, March 1916. March 23rd, 1916. Thank you, brother. Come out.
Okay. All right. And
oh, sorry, don't look.
question 15 says, what publication did Garvey launch to promote his ideas?
This would be well, would this be considered his first publication?
I believe this was after he got to the United States and he was talking about, basically it was his calling was to liberate African people. And then he said, the first thing I must do is, as he was saying, he's got to get busy and create our own publication.
What you talking about, the Negro World, but
Yes.
but yeah, his original publication, Garvey's Watchman, was one of the first, and then when he traveled to Central and South America, he created La Prensa and La Nation, which he published, before coming back, to the Jamaica, etc. So that could have been all kinds of answers.
Yeah. And I was thinking
while he traveled to Central America, South and Central America.
And I was thinking about later in his life when he had the black man. Yeah. All of those could be considered, depending on what time frame we're looking at.
Right. They should have specified it, though. Didn't really specify the time frame, so. But okay. Number 16 is, what was the primary economic initiative of the UNIA?
One of two, but I think it's more the one of the bigger one.
Which was?
Anybody? I don't want to, I don't want to take all this. Brother Art, I know you know it.
Brother Francis, you want to take a shot? The primary economic initiative of the UNIA.
Could you repeat that?
It says, what was the primary economic initiative of the UNIA?
Oh, yeah, I'll take a shot at it. The primary initiative was to have and start out and do things on your own, and economical empowerment, meaning businesses, trades, education, everything was to be established for our race of people. Original people.
Absolutely. And what was one of the big thing that he started to
well, I can only kind of dip into what I recall, and in the major thing, when we weren't getting cooperation, but I could say, the major thing was controlling our lifestyle and not to pattern our lifestyle. I think that was a bit of the major, but someone else can probably give a little more detailed clarity by other narratives.
No,
But
those
that
are all
was
good. Those are all good. But I think they were looking for like the physical business,
Yeah.
that the actual thing. We had
well.
touched on we had touched on one of them earlier.
Uh, well, they again, th- I mean, well, during that time, everything that was moving and everything that was growing and being built and invented, you know, he encouraged us to think and do like that,
Yes,
and to establish that and establish our own, and that's
yeah,
how you have spin off so many things happening, um, and giving pride in ourselves. He established that as well.
absolutely. 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 Um, but one of the main thing, the answer they were looking for here was the Black Star Line. So everything that you just said kind of go hand in hand with starting, the Black Star Line to
Could you be
enable us.
could you be descriptive of that scar line a little more clear for my
So that
clarification?
was one of the shipping line that Garvey started,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
then people were buying stocks in the Black Star Line. And again, it goes along the line of what you were saying about, economic empowerment and doing for self. All of that go hand in hand. That was just, yeah, one of the businesses to kick
Specifically,
that,
okay, yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
to kick that off. Okay. And the next one says, which country did Garvey consider a model for Black self-determination?
I I I'm gonna take a shot at it. I think it was Libya.
Close,
I'm
close,
not.
close.
I'm not sure though.
You're in the right continent, but it also start with a L.
Okay.
Liberia.
Yay,
Liberia.
absolutely.
Hmm.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
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 it.
what I meant. That's exactly what I meant to say. Liberia.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. And question 18 says, what was the outcome of Garvey's meeting with Booker T. Washington?
That's really good. uh, I mean, I can only imagine. I can take a shot at it. If somebody else
Go,
wants to
go
do it,
ahead,
they can go
please. Go
ahead.
ahead. That's kind of like a little trick
Yeah,
question.
that's a trick
Kind of.
question. That's what I was about to say. Go ahead, brother.
Well, it ain't too tricky. It's kind of clarifying. If you know
Go
about
ahead.
Booker T. Washington, it's
Anyone want to take a shot?
yeah. I'll take a shot at it. I know the the main course of I could only see where they were going. That conversation, it was like because Booker T. Washington was um, very influential in the industry in a way that things that were important to have and do and to distribute, he was on that page, and I think the the pride of what Garvey had uh, intertwined, and became an important endeavor to maintain you know income or flow or taking charge of what was happening at that time. So
Right.
like that's and now when you mentioned that Starline thing, that was a just sort of like a bold move to start your own uh, uh, economical or financial resources.
Yeah,
So we're building that
yeah,
resources and had it materialized, and so that's why we were able to have um,
mm,
ships at the dock. So it's
right.
a really wonderful thing, and I think. But anyway, go ahead, finish. That's how I see it.
So
That's my take.
everything you mentioned, no doubt was on the agenda and, amongst many other topics to be discussed. But the question is saying, what was the outcome of Garvey's meeting with Booker T, Washington?
No, I only could go by what history presented to us
That's
and
right.
what Garvey did and what Booker T. Washington did,
Mhm,
and and strongly saying, and I've read a few little books, in a few pages out of certain historical books,
mhm,
and you had people who had uh, steel mills. You had a group of men who had steel mills going.
mhm,
It's just that they did not have the to keep it going, and with all the conflict of trying to tear it down, because they doing the same thing that was during that time uh,
mhm.
when the industrial age is going on. They all participated in that, and they
Can
start
I try that?
doing their own. Yes,
Yes.
sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Booker T.
Go ahead, brother.
Washington died before they could meet.
Repeat that.
Booker T. Washington died before they could meet.
That is the answer. That is
Oh,
the answer. Everything that Brother Francis talked about is, that's all of that was going on and all of that were topics of discussion. But what happened is the meeting, in fact, it was a reason for the delay of Mr. Garvey's trip to the United States. That particular meeting never took place because Booker T. Washington died before they could meet. And that's
mm,
on page 5 of our textbook.
yeah.
Okay, so question 19 says, what role did Amy Hashwood play in the UNIA?
I remember them saying that she became a secretary at one of the meetings, at like one of the early meetings.
Yes, I do remember that as well. Yes. It's a different answer though, but that would be correct. That is one of the roles that she played. Anyone else want to take a shot? Okay,
Well,
so
let me say,
go ahead.
now,
Go ahead.
I don't remember because I haven't
Well,
read it
guess.
first.
You can guess. Go ahead and guess it. There's no.
In some
You don't
years,
lose
but
any. You don't lose any points if you guess wrong.
oh, good. Woo. Now I was, knowing Dr. Tony Martin the way I do, he probably would put in there that she was a co-founder, but she was, from my research, not actually a co-founder, but she was a pioneer member and early officer. But when she actually, when the movement was founded, she was still a juvenile and wasn't able to be a full-fledged member with certain voting rights, etc. So she, kind of, I wouldn't use the word co-founder, but she was an early pioneering member. She used to lend her father's office for the meeting spaces, and she used to participate in debates and all this kind of stuff. So I mean, she had a role, and certainly later when she moved to the U.S., she helped with the newspaper, and um, she later became one of the directors of the Black Star Line. But if early role, some people call her a co-founder. That one I wouldn't agree with, but that might be one of the answers you're looking for.
Okay. Well, thanks for filling us on those, because this kind of have a brief answer, but certainly not covering, all the roles that she played. But so you mentioned the newspaper, mentioned the meeting space, and director of the Black Star Line. So thank you for that. And Martin is putting her also as the co-founder and Garvey's first wife. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So question 20 says, what was the title of the major convention held in the UNIA in 1920?
I believe that to the membership.
The title of the major convention held by the UNIA in 1920. Anyone want to guess?
I'm on 421. We got this.
Mhm.
The first international convention.
What else?
Wow.
No, that's not it. It's not all of it.
Yeah.
The first international convention of Negro peoples of the world.
Yes, sir.
Wow, very good, Brother Art. Thank you for that answer. The first international convention of the Negro peoples of the world. And that is on page 12 of our book. Okay.
Can I make a quick?
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to mention also, because some of us overlook it, but there were also universal mass conventions for the 2 years prior to that international convention in 1920. So people think that was the first convention the UNIA had, but it wasn't. So I just wanted to point that out.
So 2000.
Mass conventions.
Go ahead, Sister Diane.
I was just repeating. He says universal mass conventions.
Yeah, we had one in 1918 and 1919.
Wow.
Okay.
Like 5,000 people showed up for the 1919.
Okay.
That's interesting, because I was always wondered how on the first convention we got 25,000 people without any type of, practice or advanced notice. So that
Word of mouth.
Mhm.
but
Word of mouth. Very
Word of
powerful.
mouth from the first ones,
yeah,
I guess. We're the five.
that
We're the
makes sense.
five. Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Thank you guys for that. Okay. 21 says, what is one of the slogans associated with Marcus Garvey's movement?
Is
I
the
mean,
primary? We got a
yeah.
primary one.
Only one I remember is up, you mighty nation, accomplish what you will. That's been my edge in my head and mouth for mostly all my life. That's
And that
one
is
of
certainly,
them.
yes, that is certainly one. And there are many, of course, and they're asking for one. The answer they have is a different one, but it's still accurate. It's still one of the common slogan. So
Africa,
the one,
for the Africans.
Was
sorry,
it back to Africa?
Africa for the Africans.
Yes, sir. What else?
that is correct. And something else.
That's the first half.
Well,
All right, well, it's almost 9. Somebody said.
Africa for the Africans, those at home and those abroad.
Yes.
The slogan.
Yes, yes. Thank you for the art. Okay, so this one, what year did Garvey die?
Great question. And what day, actually? I'm gonna add that in there. We can start with the
I
year.
think it's 1940.
Day and year?
June 10th, 1940.
June 10th?
Yeah, June 10th, 1940.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, we just,
Yes.
it was yesterday. We just celebrated his transition yesterday.
Yeah.
My answer, he never died.
That's right. He's resting in power.
I just said transition. I didn't say that. Oh, okay. You answered the question. I got you. And Garvey he says, man never dies, you know.
Yes, he
Change the
did.
form.
He transformed from one form to the other.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay.
Restroom.
All right. So, next question asks, what was the primary aim of Garvey's Negro Factories Corporation?
Repeat that.
What was the primary aim of Garvey's Negro Factories Corporation?
I would think to build economical empowerment of the black people
Yeah, economic
Very
inside the United
close. Very close.
and
Very
inside the
close.
United States.
Yes.
Is it economic
So,
independence?
that's close as well.
Hmm.
That's close. So the answer says to promote Black-owned businesses.
Hmm. Okay.
But any of the other previous answers were correct as far as the aim, the objectives, some of the aim and objective. But it was to promote Black-owned businesses. Question 24 says, which U.S. government entity prosecuted Garvey?
You should know this. Still a prominent threat today. Prominent concern.
Mm-hmm.
Hoover and the FBI.
I think that's right.
That is correct. It says the Bureau
Ooh.
of Investigation, or more accurately, the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Well, Sister Diane, point of clarification, you wrote that absolutely correct. And to my knowledge, the Bureau of Investigation was the predecessor of the FBI. So before it became officially the Federal Bureau of Investigation, it was just the Bureau of Investigation.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
Thank you for that.
And I think technically it's the Department of Justice that actually prosecuted him. The Bureau of Investigation is an investigative agency, so they did the investigation and undercover work or whatever. But even
Department of Justice.
yeah, Department of Justice, even the FBI today is a part of is up under the Department of Justice, and I'm thinking that this Bureau of Investigation also is entity up under the Department of Justice.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yes, legal
Okay,
expert.
all right.
Thank
Okay,
you, Attorney Motel.
so thank you for that emo chat. So okay,
Yeah.
question 25 says, wait. Oh yeah. It says, what was Garvey's sentence for mail fraud?
I think deportation.
No, that came
No.
later.
Oh,
Said
That
when
was
he
oh,
Because
yeah, I
his
think he
sentence
did.
was commuted to mine or something. I don't know if that's the right.
Right, right. That was later, but initially he was sentenced to a number of years in
Yes.
prison
Yeah,
prior to that happening.
I think 5 years. I think
That's
my
my
guess.
that's my guess as well.
5 years?
5 years federal penitentiary.
Okay. And
what
that
was
is.
Oh,
The
okay.
question was, what was Garvey's sentence for mail fraud?
Oh, okay. How many years you get? Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And the correct answer is
5 years.
5 years.
Yep.
Okay. Why, when was Garvey deported from the United States?
December 1927.
You're a little low, brother Kamal, but I heard you. This is Diane. Did you hear him?
Oh, okay. You can't hear me?
You are a
Yes.
little low, a
Hear
little
you
better
now.
now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, December 1927.
Yeah, I knew it was 27. I didn't know what.
And that is correct.
And yeah, I'm thinking it's November of 27. I
Yeah,
could be
November
mistaken.
he got pardoned in November, but they ain't let him out till December.
Okay.
Get into the details.
Yeah, I think it was November 27th, I think, when they actually pardoned him. Yeah.
Okay. All right. This one's easy. Which Caribbean island was Garvey from? I know everyone knows this one.
We should be able to give his birth city at this level, but we can start with
Yes, birth city and country.
yeah.
Let's toss in the birth city. Anyone ready to take a guess?
St. Anne's Bay.
St. Anne's Bay,
St. Anne's Bay, what country?
Jamaica.
Yes, that is
Bahamas.
absolutely correct, Brother Moriyama. Thank you for that.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so next question says, ask what was the purpose of the UNIA's African Redemption Fund?
I believe that purpose has changed in modern time.
Or what was the original purpose?
Yes.
So that's probably what they're gonna give us.
Yes.
Anyone want to take a shot?
It's a fund to help rebuild the continent, in a sense. I mean,
Close.
I know it's a charitable fund.
Okay, that's close. It is.
Anybody else? Purpose of the African Redemption Fund, UNIA African Redemption Fund.
Anyone want to take a guess? Okay, so the answer is to finance the return of African descendants to Africa. That's on our book, page 19. Okay. And question 29 says, how did Garvey's vision influence future civil rights movements?
My opinion, it was a model. The only difference, the civil rights took a domestic approach as opposed to an international approach. But Garvey movement served as a model for most.
Very true.
blacks and
Very
white people.
true. Very true. So, well, the answer says that it laid the groundwork for Black nationalism and pride.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to mention that in a lot of ways it contributed, even though Mr. Garvey did not try to reduce it to civil rights. He actually expanded it to human rights, like Malcolm would later do, by going to League of Nations, by us declaring our rights rather than begging for someone else to approve the rights that they gave us. And, by developing the mentality of many future civil rights leaders like Dr. King and like, Charles Hamilton Houston and others, activists. He certainly shaped them, as well as the work he did with the PPP and the Universal Negro Political Union. And so there was a lot of political institutions that the UNIA had in its heyday that were models in many ways for the future civil rights activists to draw from. But certainly, the Black Power movement drew a lot from the model of the UNIA as well.
That is true. Okay. Next question says, thank you for that. What was the name of Garvey's second wife?
This a gimme.
I think her name is also Amy. That's a
Amy
hint.
Jocks Garvey.
Thank you, brother Art. Correct.
Let's turn email tap.
Amy Euphemia Jakes Garvey.
Euphemia.
Yeah, Euphemia is a middle name. Oddly enough, I was the one who taught her son her middle name.
Wow, Euphemia?
Yeah.
Euphemia.
Yep.
Ufimia?
Yeah. No, EUPH EMIA.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
make sure, I'm glad you all said she didn't like jocks.
Jake.
So she wanted everybody to call her Jake. Jocks kind of had a male connotation. She thought like Jacques Cousteau or something. So she
okay.
everybody referred to
Yeah.
Well, okay. That's interesting trivia question. Okay, awesome. 31 says, what was Garvey's position on segregation?
That's a good question.
Anyone want to take a shot?
I would say he was not against segregation.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, so the answer says that he believed in separation for the purpose of Black empowerment.
I would also, based on course of African philosophy, I would also argue he would say that for racial purity as well.
Absolute. Absolute. Yes. Yes, and the next question says, thank you for that, Brother John.
Mhm.
And the next question says, what did the UNIA's motto, one God, one aim, one destiny, signify?
Unity, call for unity, call for action.
That's good. That's good. Unity's good. Action is kind of good too. Yeah, action is kind of engaging in purposeful endeavors. So the action is good. Anyone else?
I think that self-reliance thing was very popular too. I think,
Yes,
or
yes,
the part of the philosophy of,
yes, definitely. Self-reliance and basically being forced, forced to rely on yourself. And he was saying if there's a way, if there wasn't a way to make a way, make it happen kind of thing in part of the early part of the book.
yeah. Well, I could
But
see
it does,
that. I can see that.
yes. Thank you for that. So the answer they have is the purpose of the one God, one aim, one destiny signifies unity and common purpose among people of African descent.
Mhm.
Unity and common purpose among people of African descent.
Mhm.
And question number 33 says, what was the significance of the Negro World newspaper?
Most definitely to spread the knowledge and the philosophies and the activity to become self-reliance. I definitely had to print that out like that to
Mhm.
ensure that that's why about, they brought in God and then they brought in the reality of who we were and where we came from and what we need to do. So that was, you know, the reason for that, and then the power of having people to read, you know.
Yes,
So, so
absolutely. That
uh,
was kind of like the Facebook of the day, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But again, as I said before, these philosophies and things that are being done are um, it's been so intertwined that you know the it's a historical thing that was in process, but the reality is you had brothers and sisters that made it happen, you know, for some reason, for many reasons, it it wasn't able to gel in a way where we could maintain thriving uh, communities, which during that time, even though we had those racial problems, we had self righteousness and we had some pride. We had a lot of pride, and
Mhm.
that was to be taken prevalently, and that's why they, continue to put emphasis on us as a people, where
Mhm.
we have been degraded, but now it's differently. So the word is very powerful in shaping and form people. So yeah, It was just necessary to have our own because nobody else was going to write something
Yes.
uh, about us or what we did or what was happening but us. So that was just another bold move of self-reliance. And you have
Yes.
to take what you got and make something, with that, and even though we had hard times, I've read in history, we had
Yes.
some very, very powerful brothers and sisters that, grew financially, economically, and, had thriving lifestyles. But it just wasn't enough to um, flow over into the community to build, as Garvey would say, the nation. You know,
Absolutely.
but it's still doable. It's still doable today. Nothing, nothing. It's still doable today. So
Hmm.
even though we have these different things, we can still take them and intertwine and interweave and make things happen for us as a
Hmm.
community and as a people, and the to build the self-reliance. But you had to also, when a move is given, just like the star line, that was
Yeah.
very powerful. And
Yes.
people invested their time and their money, into that, and and the shipping line came to be. You know, now
Yes.
I don't think it may have kind of moved from the states, but I think that shipping industry began to thrive, and then eventually, like everything else, it was sold out, to whomever, and it
Hmm.
integrated into something else, so where we had no more major emphasis on that part of the economy. So those things, I mean, in my belief and in my journey, I know that they can, take place. But pride is a main thing, and telling the story and taking action and taking what you got, and make it work.
Hmm.
And then when there's a system in place, in which they are, you can, as we
Yes.
go into that later, I guess. But yeah, that's
Absolutely.
a wonderful thing, self-reliance.
Yes.
So very
Absolutely.
wonderful thing.
Absolutely, Brother Francis. So at the end of the day, we have to speak our own narrative. We have to the answer says that it was to spread Garvey's message globally. But at the end of the day, we have to tell our own story, and we have to be action oriented. And when you really think about it, our job is to pick up where Garvey left off, because unfortunately, the forces were there and the forces worked against him to some extent. They never really stopped him because he was
No,
fighting
no,
to the end.
no, no, no. They didn't stop even when they didn't when they deported him. I mean, the movement is ongoing because the creator
Yeah.
set up for man to be better and better and better. You know what I mean? And I mean, we could go way back. Those that we have educated begin to dominate. So
Yeah.
uh,
Yes.
the process can go the same way. You know, and that's what we have to do. We have to do to
Mhm.
get that collective force. But no, the movement, no, most definitely has not been was never wiped out. They just moved ahead of the state to another
Right.
location. That was all.
They
You
slowed
know,
things down a bit, but
you know what I
but
mean.
at
But,
the
I
end,
mean, but then you had others from that. You had other members of the community begin to blossom. You know,
right.
and I think I read in the little insert, most of the brothers, uh, 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 Father Divine, Noble Drew Ali. They didn't mention and the Muslims, which was Elijah Muhammad, and a
Mhm.
whole gross of people. You know what I mean? And
Right.
again, the movement, the rebellion. Some of us were still able to weave through that and materialize into great forces. But
Mhm.
again, it that end up in being twined into other things, and a lot of us, miss the greatness in ourselves to establish a collective force. So that's what. But right now, today, it, it still can come right now, right at this moment, with just
Yes.
us on this line.
Yes.
We can do it. You know what I mean?
I believe
We can
that.
do,
We just
we
have to
can do
carry
it.
the torch. We
You
have to
know,
carry the
and
torch.
right. But then, like I say, we had to work with what we got. If we just got 12 of us, then we take that 12 and make it happen. You know what I mean? Um, and and there are systems for that, and it's a process in this society to still rise up and have all those things that uh, Garvey spoke about, and that's why I said that my major slogan. I mean, and I tell people it's okay. Well, this is happening, that's happening. You're doing this, and you're doing this. You know,
Mhm.
but the brother said, "Up, you mighty nation." That means
Yeah.
yourself, and then
Yeah.
whatever is happening out there to better ourselves and collectively better ourselves, that too you must do. You know, even
Yeah.
though even though you may not want to do it, you may be educated in a way that you may not want to do it, but
Mhm.
it's not about that. It's about the nation. That's why I
Yeah.
say rise up. And this is nation in each and every one of us. So what we do is we come together like the earth, and we begin to build on what we have, you know? So yeah, this is I mean, no, that definitely didn't die. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
got you have people like uh King, Malcolm, uh, Ralph. Uh, uh, I can't think of his name in the labor movement. You know what I mean? So you had all
Mhm.
those brothers. And you had people. You got a group of people. I was amazed. Like historically, they the unsung heroes of some of that stuff.
Yeah.
They got a little museum down there in Savannah. I mean, so but the thing is that we just have to take, like today we collaborate, we study, Garvey's works, you know. So
Yes.
the implementation of that self-reliance we have to put in place. And like I said before, we have to take what we got. Just like our ancestors took what they got. They took those little bit of tools. Here, you can have this hammer. Get on off the property. You don't own nothing. You got your freedom. Go. You know, and that's all they had. But then
Mm.
they took what they had and made something out of it.
So
I
much
don't,
for 40 acres and a mule, right?
say it again.
So much for 40 acres and a mule.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, yeah, but I just want you to know that some of them got 40 acres. Okay.
Well, on their own. And that
Yeah,
wasn't given
yeah,
to them.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't given. But that's the thing. That's self-reliance.
Right.
That's that
Right.
self-reliance. I was just amazed. How I mean, you had brothers in the South. I mean, they they built wealth. They established wealth. They left wealth when they died, and they ain't have one problem. Not one problem, not one stitch, not
Mm.
one incarceration
Right.
by the enemy. And they
Right.
right in the mix of all that stuff that was going on.
Mm.
So that
They
tell you like
persevered. They
yeah,
persevered in spite of it, you know?
yeah, that's why he spoke. Garvey spoke on the power of God and who we were. You know, so yeah, this. I mean, this is just a beautiful thing. So
Mhm.
yeah, we just have to sit up, do a plan, set a strategy, like one brother mentioned, a strategy, and with
Yeah.
maybe that, like you said, it didn't materialize, but spiritually, that meeting took place. With
Yes.
Booker T. Washington and Marcus Garvey, it took place because you can see the ripples of
Mhm.
what was idolizedly said and done and felt.
Right.
Even though it wasn't a meeting, there was a meeting. That in that sense, not physically, you know what I mean, but
Mhm.
he left a legacy, and when they
Yes.
deported Marcus Garvey, he had already left a legacy. They didn't really do it. They just imported him, and
Right.
that's but that took away some of the fire. You know what I mean? But still, nonetheless, everything else materialized. But you
Yeah.
just got to keep going better and better. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I didn't take up too much time. Sorry about that.
No, no, not at all. Not at all. We appreciate your comments. So the answer again, to kind of just expounding on some of the things you touched on, um, Garvey viewed African continent
We
and is
didn't,
it,
Sister Diane, we didn't ask that one yet.
oh, I'm sorry. That's right.
We just finished the Negro Road.
That's right. I'm speeding ahead. Okay, so how did Garvey view the African continent in his ideology?
How did he view the African continent and his
Yeah.
ideology?
Yes.
Well, I only could see that as that's really heavy because that continent is just full with riches and full with potentials, and even today. So I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say this how it would
All
how
of that is true. All of that
you
is
know so
true.
so so he that
But
that
but
but go ahead, you can express it. I got it in my mind, but yeah, I think
anyone else want to try it?
something to think
Try?
about.
uh, I know that my understanding was he wanted Africa to be a base of operations for the diaspora, but that's where we would have a headquarters is on the continent.
Okay. Okay. That is true. Um, the answer though says that he viewed Africa, the African continent, as the homeland for all people of African descent. So I think if Garvey's movement was not thwarted, is that word? If it was not interrupted, I mean, and it just continued at that momentum and the deportation didn't happen, I feel a lot of us would have, Fortune 5 companies on the continent, and we'd be going back and forth, and we'd have our own black airlines, and all of this stuff would be going on. But that's not to say it won't happen, but I think we would be there already, because
Uh,
it's just like if you look at China, and if you look at Israel, and if you look at India, and you look at Japan and all these countries, many, many Japanese people are worldwide, Chinese people are worldwide. Chinese people
well,
are trying to take over the,
well,
I
I
mean, they
would
have a,
say I'll say this. That's a good point. And I'll say this. Uh, all those countries, all those providence, they had a support system which was given by us through our labor, through our system of government, and through our economic empowerment throughout the world. So, I mean, like you said, it can happen today. It's no big, it's just that we had to pool the resources. We
Right.
had resources and we had to do what we have to do. We had to, go in there, and everybody's not going to be the rocket scientist, but you can go in there and
Mhm.
tell these students, hey, you got to have that other thing that gets you money or gets you an income, or you got to learn some trades. You got to learn how things are done so that you can be creative enough to make money out of it. And that's
Mhm.
what our ancestors did. I mean, I'm telling you,
Yes.
that's what they did. They took over Louisiana. Okay. The only things that broke that up was eventually, the Klan, you know.
Right.
Yeah, but that's okay. You still had individuals to 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 do things and participate and still survive. It's just not, we're not going to be wiped out. And the only reason those people and those locations in the world have what they have is because we supported them. We tore them up and we rebuilt them. But you think they're
Mhm.
gonna? They know what happened to. I mean, I won't. I remember a brother used to always say the they. Who's they? But our process of establishment and as an entity force in the world, uh, in our government, and our politicians, and our business owners, and I mean, they had all this had to play. So but they're not going to turn around and I mean, at this point, the process has not turned around and say, oh, let's put uh 1 billion in this platform to build a thriving community in the state of Georgia.
Mhm.
Okay. And then state to state, we will do 2 billion, and
Mhm.
we'll compound it over time. So in every state, because we everywhere, you know, uh, they just not have not come to that level yet. So the only thing we can do is take and pull what we got, just like our
Right.
ancestors pull
Right. Exactly. We may not start with a
and that's what
billion, but maybe we might we might
well,
nationally start with a million.
yeah, we can, you know, I'm just gonna say, uh, the money is there, opportunities are there, the systems are there. We have to just take hold of those systems and work them within, and
Yeah.
then take the resources and build what we want to build. That's
Absolutely.
that's a strategy.
Yes.
That's the strategy. That's how I walk. My I've been well trained over the years, and like I said before, the movement hasn't died. It hasn't died in any of us. You have people that you just have to give them a replica of what they have to do, like I said, with us being online now for the last hour and a half, we can do that. We can
Yes.
do that just amongst ourselves, and whenever that day we need to sit down at the table and meet and then put it to work. That's
Yes.
that's
Absolutely.
that's
Absolutely.
it's not hard. It's just
We
saying,
have
hey,
to focus a lot on the economic piece because
yeah,
that's what needs the most attention, and the time to start is now.
yeah, and
I agree.
that's why I always shout. I know you've heard me say that. Some people start talking about, just be honest. They start talking about Garvey. I said, well, one thing you got to do is you got to rise up. And if you ain't rising up, well, you just pumping the propaganda, but or the historical facts, you know, uh,
Mhm.
that we have all either participated or we learned from someone else. But really, economically, there are systems in place where we can grow and pool finances and we ain't got to call on nobody, you know.
Right.
As I said before, I mean, there's brothers when they was doing all that stuff during the movement, civil rights movement. That's a
Yeah.
part of the Garvey movement. That's a ripple in the water, you know. I'm telling you,
Mhm.
had brothers and sisters. Them white folks ain't they ain't put a stitch in their head. They ain't burn their property down. They ain't burn their assets. They ain't take nothing from them. And I
Mm.
want you to know them same, that's one of them same brothers, all those people that's getting bailed out, white folks wasn't bailing them out.
Wow.
He was bailing them out. And
Mm.
that's when I told some brothers, I say, and you don't think God is real?
Mm.
They didn't put a stitch in that man's head. That was in Alabama.
Wow.
So, yeah, so to be serious, what we got here on the internet right now talking and, giving reverence to, very strong individual during that time, and different ripples that he made in people's lives. Because he did, all those
Mm.
people that I named, they did well and they helped a lot of people. And some of them you see now. You see
Yeah.
Farrakhan. You see Farrakhan out there, you know?
Yeah.
And you see some other brothers out there. You see people in the
Yes.
political arena doing what they're doing. You know, I mean, we have a political process. So, some people can do more, and some people can do less. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God works through the mind of men. That's why things change constantly. Change.
Mhm.
So it's advantageous. I'm not say go take no more time.
Absolutely.
But,
Absolutely.
it's advantageous
Yes,
that
we've come a long way in a lot of sense, but we
we
still have a
need to
long
get.
way. We
Yeah,
still have a long way to go.
as they say, blaze to the trail right now because
Hmm.
things have changed. I mean,
Yes.
things have changed, and we can take those changes, sit
Yes.
down at the table, put the strategy together, and do it. And
That's right.
I believe, and I've seen people and individuals blow up
Hmm.
financially in a couple of years. I
Yes.
mean, you know, and that's because,
Consistent and
so
determined effort and
yeah,
group and
yeah,
working as a
yeah,
team.
that's right. So I mean, it's just important to do that. You know,
Yeah.
but with that being said, I mean, let me stop. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
we'll
And
do it. We just got to
we
call a
kind of
day and
expound
time.
on some
We
of
can
we
call a date and
expound on
time and say,
yes. We expound on some of this in the business meetings too on Thursday. So
yeah, I remember you
yeah,
mentioned that. That's why
yeah,
I try not to get off on that
yeah.
tantrum.
So absolutely.
But that
Absolutely.
philosophy is so strong that you
Yeah,
can't avoid it. It's in
yeah,
there. That's what the brother was. That's what the Garvey was teaching. That's what he was
yeah,
preaching. That's what he was guiding. That's what he was directing. It was that,
absolutely.
that economical empowerment. You
Yes. That's the
see?
most
And,
important piece. We
and
can't
a lot
ignore
of
it.
yeah, and a lot of people. I mean, it's a lot of people. It was, yeah, a lot of people, they did it. They did it in Mississippi. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
not until after the World War One they got run out. But still,
Yes.
they were doing it. It just wasn't able to get to the height where you have the glorification of these different ethnic communities. It's just,
Yeah,
I mean, but we can still do that. We can still do that.
absolutely.
All right. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
So
I
thank
really appreciate
uh,
each and every one. This is very
yes,
powerful, just
we
coming
appreciate
together like this.
yes, we appreciate you, Brother Francis. All your feedback is just great and things we can definitely work with. So we have one last question to wrap up the questions for chapter one. And that's question number 35. It says, what was Garvey's legacy after his death? And of course, Brother Francis did touch on some of those. Um, and it's kind of like, it's not like one answer, obviously.
Yeah.
But does anyone want to take a shot at any pieces of that? Garvey's legacy after his death.
The one that comes to my mind is, and I know it's probably not in the book, but we're here in Atlanta. One of the quotes that we use when we talk about Garvey is a quote that Dr. Martin Luther King had.
Oh, I'm sitting here with all the lights off.
But he said, Mr. Garvey was the first man to give millions of Negroes a sense of dignity and purpose. And that's a paraphrase, but that would be,
Yes,
that would be what I would probably say if I was asked that question.
absolutely, absolutely. Anyone else? And that is in line with the answer, which says, it says, he became a symbol of Black pride and empowerment.
Yes, most definitely.
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
So, I'm using this fan. I don't really remember where I got it, but it just reminds me, we could make UNIA fans. We could use black and green fans like these, But anyway, so yes, that would conclude the questions for now for chapter 1.
Right.
And
Very
we
powerful.
can,
Very powerful.
yes, absolutely. So if we normally go till 9:30, 10, it's up to you folks. If you want, we can touch on some of chapter 2's question. You can take a sip of waters, do a quick stretch, and we can go until 10 o'clock. But if you guys want to close out, we can. It's entirely up to you guys.
Well, I'll take you up on a sip of water and stretch,
Okay. Just a quick stretch,
but
a sip of water.
yeah,
We could go till 10 o'clock if you guys
if,
want to
if
get into chapter 2 a little bit.
yeah, that's fine.
We can party all night. Let's do it till 3 in the morning.
Yes, we could for sure. We could finish chapter 2 and then we could read chapter 5, which is the next chapter, and we could be here till midnight. But some folks on this line would be mad at us because they got to get up early for work. But yeah, we could just take a sip of water and continue with chapter 2.
Sister Diane, I don't recall us reading chapter 4 though.
I think we left off on 4. We did 3 and 4. You know what?
I thought we finished 3.
Perhaps you're correct. I think you may be correct. We never got into. I was thinking one night we did a double whammy, and we did 3 and 4, but it may have been 2 and 3.
Yeah, one night we did 2 and some of 3, and then when we came back, we decided to start from the beginning of chapter 3.
That's correct. We had started. That is right. So we did 3, and doing it, we didn't. Okay, so 4 is where we would go to, hopefully next week. So we can get a little start on chapter 2, and we can review maybe the first 10 questions, or whatever we get to when it gets to 10 o'clock. Maybe we could do like what is it, 9:39? At 9:40, we could grab a cup of water and start back at 9:40 and just go till 10, 20 minutes. Everyone's okay with that?
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm good.
What do you guys think? UNIA fan. It'll be red, black, and green, like that.
I love
it.
What material is it made out of?
It's a very light paper type material. I'm not quite sure what it is. I got it somewhere, don't remember, but it's got all these writings on the inside. This could be our mottos, and
You know,
Oh,
historically, we used to make the other kinds of fans, the old church fans, like the popsicle stick with a picture on them.
yeah.
Oh, wow. That's right.
Yeah, yeah, we used to make
That's
those
right.
kind, but I like those better. They look more classy.
Yes.
Yeah, we can
Yes.
mention it to Sister Cecily, Arts and Culture. We're trying to get some things going.
Promotional items.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is 9:41, so we can continue with chapter 2 and some of chapter 2 questions for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I can go 20 minutes, about 9:55, 58. Yeah.
okay, that'll be fine. We could wrap up around then and do the macho and close out. And so we can stop at 9:55. Okay, so chapter 2, the philosophical foundations of Garveyism. And chapter 1 says, what was the fundamental principle behind Garvey's philosophy? Anyone can.
Could you repeat that real quickly?
So it says, what was the fundamental principle behind Garvey's philosophy?
Not self-reliant.
That's good. Yes, that's part of it.
I think I know the exact words, Dan.
Anyone else? It's close. It's an easy one, kind of.
It's something we say a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I know it.
Brother Francis repeated a few times.
Don't know.
Yeah, it was, up you mighty nation, accomplish what you will.
Well, you said it's actually racial uplift
Yeah.
and self-reliance.
Self-reliance, yes.
First. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
and up you mighty nation is really uplifting out the race. So it's racial uplift and self-reliance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Most definitely.
Yes.
If you go in the Pacific, racial upliftment and self-reliance. Most definitely. Most definitely.
Yeah. And then question 2 says, what term did Garvey use to describe the collective identity of Black people?
Repeat that again.
What term did Garvey use to describe the collective identity of Black people?
Tough one.
Would it be I'll just take a shot at it. I mean, I'm not sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
And if you would repeat you say what?
It says, what term did Garvey use to describe the collective identity of Black people?
I think it was universal Negro improvement. I don't know if that's true. I mean, if that's exactly it, but
well, your answer has part of your answer has part of the word, part of the answer. This one this is a simple one. It says basically the Negro race.
Yeah, Negro. Okay, Negro race.
Negro race. So he referred to collective Black people as the Negro race. That surfaced many times in his poems and his writings and in his direct quotes.
Yeah.
The Negro race. Okay. And what did Garvey consider essential for Black liberation? And we touched on some of these throughout the evening. What did Garvey consider? 100% economic independence is the answer to that one. Absolute. Okay. And then question 4 says, how did Garvey view the role of religion in his movement? How did Garvey view the role of religion in his movement?
I think in a part where it's just in a relation to God, you know, the spiritual part, you know, Father, a father of God the Father, and brotherhood the man, you know. So I'm just throwing it out there because I'm skimming through the material as well. But I think that he gave a lot of emphasis on God and our
Yes.
relationship to God. I mean, like
Yes,
our
absolutely.
close relationship to God. As he
Yes.
said, I'm finding one down here now. It says, yeah, as I said, it believes in the spiritual fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of man. I'm telling you,
Absolutely.
you know, he knew who God was. He knew who he was, and he just campaigned to bring that reality and that uplifting of pride
Yes.
to the people. I mean, and he did it.
Absolutely.
I mean, he did it. I mean,
Absolutely.
he did it. He did it.
Absolutely. That was an important piece for Garvey because in the course of African philosophy, he has an entire chapter about God, an entire chapter about man. But as the answer they were looking for here, so all of that is true, well, of course. But I think the answer they were looking for here was to say that Garvey viewed the role of religion in his movement as a unifying and moral force, as a
Absolutely.
unifying
Yeah.
and moral force.
Well, and that being because our identity to God, our relationship to God, you know, and he, like I said, he knew who he was and he knew who God was, and so he made sure that that was emphasized. That God was always. That's what we're gonna do. We always gonna do that, you know.
Yes.
We're always gonna do that. So yeah, that's powerful, and
Yes.
that's powerful. That's really powerful.
And question 5 says, what was Garvey's stance on integration with white society? What was Garvey's stance on integration with white society?
That
Well, I would say again, he was a proponent of segregating, do it for self, and racial purity. So making sure we didn't intermarry on the extreme sense, but specifically integration.
pretty much.
I'm not exactly sure on the specific integration.
That was part of the answer. Yes. Yes. Anyone else want to take a shot at it? Okay. So the answer, according to the Tony Martin's book, is that he opposed it. He advocated for separate development. So he opposed it, advocating for separate development.
Right.
So that's like the self-reliant and doing for self
Yeah. Right.
and preservation of the race and things of that nature.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
It's that part is really heavy. Um, really. Yeah. And during that time, I I know, and during that time, I know that, because it goes right back to loving yourself, you know, and again, like I said before, it's a lot of other premises that go along with that, but main reason why he wanted to get us, because we have been, stepped on for 400 years, so, and then we have been tampered with thousands and thousands of years. So,
Mhm.
I mean, so it was imperative that we start off like that and do that, the best that we
Yeah.
could. I mean, emotions and human nature is human nature. Um,
Mhm.
so we had to be, educated and re-educated. So we had to pull out, had to stand back and look at what we had to do and what we must do.
Yeah,
Uh, because
absolutely.
everybody was just taking, and again, like I said, is we can say all we want, but have we not have the systems and government and all that stuff, I mean, you can just imagine how the world would be total anarchy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
And
we,
Garvey touched on that too, and he
yeah,
talks about it.
yeah.
Again, I
So
keep going back to the course in African philosophy. He talks
yeah,
about the purpose, the function of government, and
yeah,
absolutely, you're right on point.
yeah,
Right on
yeah.
point.
So I mean, if you can't, you got to love yourself, and we do love ourselves. That's why we took care, our ancestors took care of those people, and that's why right now today, we still take care of people, because we go get a job, and we work that job, and like some of them days is gone now that you can't work. You can, but I don't know how profitable it be. I haven't seen many people be 20 years. Maybe with some of the tech companies, it may have some time in there like that. But usually, when they start getting to that part where, you know, your your you get your some of those small chippings of rewards, they let you go. You know,
Mhm.
so that's still a part of still serving. But no, everybody serves, but that's
Yes,
still a part. But like it's like he preaches, you got to be self-reliant. So that's why there was like during that time, definitely, and even definitely during that time, it it wasn't good to do that, because the reality was you're gonna get some troubles down the road. So try to build your own, educate your own, have your own hospital, have your own schools, have your, because it's important. You know
absolutely.
what I mean? Because it's
Absolutely.
even today it's a lot of stress going in there
Yeah.
into
And
the
not only and not
hospital.
only and not only our own, but add add a little, Afrocentric something to it,
Yeah,
like if we have our own hospital, have us an area that's just not just going to rely on mainstream, but also incorporate, you know, some African healing or herbal healing or natural healing, and
most definitely the
you
science
know,
would be there. The science would be there. I mean, the science will be there. I mean, I'm almost sure. I mean, if that
yes,
if we could get 1 billion in 1 year between the 10 of us, with the systems and processes and things that exist, we could go buy that old building in the first ward and hire people and supervise those people. You
yes,
know what I mean? And until they their mind and their philosophy would be the same as our liberated goal. You know,
yes,
so
absolutely.
that's it's that's what it's gonna take. you know, and you won't have anybody say
Absolutely.
coming to shut it down because they can't shut it down because it's yours. You
And like you
know?
say, you start where you are. You
Yeah.
start where you are, and then you fly from there. We're gonna take baby steps, and we're gonna walk, but we don't have all day to learn how to
Yeah.
walk and learn how to fly. So
So,
it's
well, let's
yeah,
just pick a time and all us get back and meet
yeah,
and live. Meet live. We can meet right at where we all met at the Malcolm X party. So
absolutely,
and we meet right
absolutely,
there at that park table and bring
yes,
a couple of snacks and
yes.
pencils and
And we
papers and say
usually
this
uh,
we're gonna
we
do.
usually sometimes rent out the griot. It's a griot. I think it's called the Oman. I never say the word right, but what is it, Brother John? Omanala Griot Cultural Center.
Yes, Omanala Griot or Griot um, Museum, Southwest Florida.
Yes. So we
Yeah.
could plan a big powwow for economics and meet there and just determine which day, which night, and
Right.
this sort of thing. Maybe on a weekend, maybe on a Saturday if a lot of folks
What?
are not busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we got to plan it,
Saturdays.
of course.
Yeah, that's fine. Any day. Uh,
Yes,
any day.
yes,
I mean, I have things going on, but I would say a Saturday. It could be morning. I mean, no, it could be unless it's early morning. I don't know, like work up like it. I'm just letting you know my flexibility. That's all I'm doing right
mhm,
now. Um, Saturday mornings, or Sunday mornings, Sunday afternoon. Um, it's fine. And then, of course, like we meet now, 8 o'clock at night or
yes,
9 o'clock at night on a given day.
yes,
We sit down and we just go somewhere and
right.
place
We
closes
can
at
take
10 or
some
11.
healthy,
Yeah, yeah,
some
just
healthy snacks and stuff like that,
yeah.
healthy food, maybe. Yes,
I'm,
definitely,
yeah,
definitely. We should definitely strive to come together, every now and then. I know that it's not feasible for all, but yes, we should come together every now and then and meet and greet and plan and strategize and all that
yeah,
good
take
stuff.
and take action. Let's take, we put it
Yes,
there. We all know what we got to do to say, this has worked there for these people. Let's take this and make it work, and then uh whatever next phase we'll do that. We'll give this a certain amount of time and we'll do this a certain amount of time. But we just blaze the trail.
absolutely,
Blaze the trail.
absolutely,
All right, ladies
absolutely.
and gentlemen, as Les
So,
Brown always
so
says,
we can
it's a
look at the
real
last
pleasure.
question and then we
Okay.
can close out with the last question because it's coming close. It's actually, we went a little over, but it's
Yes.
been wonderful having all of you on this call tonight. Thank you so much for your
It's a
questions, your
pleasure. I
comments, your
appreciate
feedbacks,
appreciate
and
the
it's been
coordination of
wonderful.
this. See,
Yes, yes,
that's a replica of Garvey. Just setting this up. Yeah,
yes,
you bad.
yes.
Yeah.
So we can just close out with this one question, and then uh Brother Moriyama, if you want, you can close us out after we just finished question number 6. And question number 6 says, what concept did Garvey promote to inspire pride among Black people? What concept did Garvey
Excuse
promote to inspire pride among Black people? And anyone can take a shot at the answer.
I'm gonna say love of self and love of our race.
That is part of it. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Anyone else? Self-love, love of race, those are all part of it.
I would probably add the concept of a black god as well. I'm not
Yes,
sure that's part
yes,
of the answer you're looking for,
I
but
like
that's just
yes.
inspired pride.
Well, Well, it has black in it. So that's on the right track. So the answer is Black self-pride and cultural heritage. So Black self-pride and cultural heritage. And as we were able to dive deeper into chapter 2, next week we'll see some of the wonderful things that Garvey put in place. And I mean, it was just amazing, the plays, and I mean, it was just a lot of great things that we'll get into more next week. But um, that would be Black self-pride and cultural heritage. So I'm gonna make a mark so I know we're leaving off at question number 6, and we'll pick up with question number 7, chapter 2, next week, and hope to complete chapter 2's question and jump into the reading for chapter 4. Again, anyone has any question, comments, or concern we
I
didn't
just want
touch
to make
on?
a quick final thought. We were talking about segregation and his views dealing with integration, but I wanted to clarify there's a difference between segregation and separation. So that, as Malcolm X once said, if you segregated, it's like living in your parents' house but being confined to your room. But separation is like having your own home and being able to do what you want in your own house. So,
Yeah,
Mr. Garvey was in
I
favor of
like that. That's, yes, I like that. That makes a lot of sense. And that's what he talked about a lot too, that certain things we can only accomplish being on the African continent. You know, we're still under, no matter what we do here, we're still under the government. You know, we're still under the government of this country. So, but we can have our own separate government, and that was ringing throughout Garvey's messages. Absolutely,
Yeah.
I like
And
that
it,
analogy.
yeah, that's powerful. And another thing, just to point, as you point pivot on for that, what you're saying, uh, we that's where we can take what we got, you know, and and we can become a small community within that system and still be a separate entity, you know. That's what we can
Yes,
do. We can have our
yes,
own little city. You can just name it.
yes,
It can be
yes,
10 blocks. I'm telling you. Why you think
absolutely.
you did 10 blocks and we clean
Yes,
it up, fix it up, do this, put a bridge over
exactly,
there. I'm telling you,
exactly.
they will
That's the truth, and I've had
that's
that vision too, which can just be just a
yeah.
block. Because
I don't
sometimes you go
know if
into some area and the whole
yeah,
block needs help. And that's
yes,
where the others are gentrifying the neighborhood and
yeah.
running people out. Because then once they get in there, you can't afford anything.
You know what I mean? This the
So
thing is it's just, that's why we gotta make the money. We gotta make the
that's
money.
right.
I mean, we gotta find
That's
ways to
right.
earn that money. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Put value
Yes.
ourselves collectively, individually, and earn
Yeah.
that money.
And
They'll pay it.
our next business meeting is not this Thursday, Brother John. Is it next Thursday, or we have one this Thursday as well?
Brother Macy's has been holding them every week. It may
Oh,
get
it's every week. Okay, so
it
this
may get
Thursday,
moved though, but it's supposed to be this week.
Keep
this
me on
Thursday,
point. Keep me on point. Listen,
yes,
listen. And the main thing is this: we have this meeting in person. Uh,
yes,
uh, we can do it. I don't know where everybody lives, but my dad
yeah.
used to say
Well,
this.
we're touching on
Yeah,
some really cool points in it,
yeah,
but yes, I agree with you that that eventually we could target maybe once a quarter, once a month. We can work on it and
yeah.
bring it into fruition,
Yes,
whereby every month, or every quarter or every 3 months, we can kind of take a vote or something, if and just make it a commitment
yes.
to, if it's just the business arm of things, we come together face to face, and I think that can only strengthen that area and help.
Well, most
So
definitely,
I
most
agree.
definitely, most definitely,
Yes.
most definitely.
Yes.
Anytime.
So that being said, any more comments, concerns?
Just gonna say great job, First Lady, Vice President.
Thank you so much. And thanks again, everyone, for your participation. We appreciate y'all and hope to see you at the next session.
Sounds
So that
good.
being said,
Sounds wonderful.
yes, yes, absolutely. And that being said, Brother Mariama, I said that right? Mariama, would you mind? Mariama, would you mind closing us out, please?
Can I close with the chaplain's prayer?
No, with the mantra,
Let-
the one God.
Let him.
Or let Brother John
yeah,
do it if you're not
it's a
familiar
blessing.
with it yet.
Oh,
You want to do it, Brother John? Till Brother Mariama gets familiar with it.
No. He has another closing that he would like to give. That's what he's asking.
Another UNIA.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Go ahead. Floor
Okay,
is yours, sir.
Oh yeah, it's just going to go over the chaplain's prayer. I like normally going out with song too, but I won't belabor point. But yeah, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts. God of the right, our battles fight. Be with us as of yore. Break down the barriers of might. We reverently implore. Stand with us in our struggles for the triumph of the right. Spread confusion ever o'er the advocates of might. And let them know that righteousness is mightier than sin. That might is only selfishness and ought not win. Endow us, Lord, with faith and grace and courage to endure the wrongs we suffer here, pace and bless us evermore. One God,
One God,
One God,
one aim,
God,
one
one
aim,
aim,
one destiny.
one
one
destiny.
destiny. Yes.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you as
Thank you.
well.
Trying to say his first name. Thank you, brother Kamal. I'm gonna stick to
Peace,
what I said.
love, and blessing, everyone.
Yes,
Thank
most
you.
definitely.
Yes.
I'll
Peace.
send the questions out to everyone that attended. Sister Diane, everybody's getting the copy with the answers on it.
Everyone's getting a copy with the answers for just chapter 1. And yes, chapter 1, because chapter 1 also covers chapter 2 up to question 8. We'll send that one out.
Okay.
And then we'll send chapter 2 out after we complete those questions next week.
Okay. I just wanted to confirm.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you so much, everyone.
Stop the recording.
Have a great night.